Hi, it's Ricky again, and as I had said before, I wanted to do some travel tips, and I thought I would talk to you today about travel tips and how the trip went. The trip went really well, actually. A 5 day trip, my first extended trip. I was actually able to meet up with another fellow vatter, Brandon, who most of you know is a really dear friend of mine and of my caregiver, Sean's, and his caregiver, Chris. So it was a nice little visit up there, and then we went on up to New Jersey. The one thing I'm going to say is I did not try traveling with what would be considered a carry-on for an airplane. I used a regular size suitcase for that. Um, so I don't know how that's going to work when my next trip is on a plane, but we'll figure it out as we go. The good thing about this is my team had given me permission a few weeks prior to the trip, which gave me a little bit of time to plan for it. So, I always say to everybody, even before the LVAD, if you have time to plan for a trip, you have a little bit of luxury. If it's one of those spur of the moment or, God forbid, a family emergency, then that can really be a little bit daunting. The puppy was over here playing with the curtain just now. So this is the puppy. This is little Claudia. She is our little mascot. But at any rate, um, one of the things that I was really happy to have was this VAD tag, which identified me as a bad patient. God forbid something should happen. And on the front of it, you see where it says bad patient. And then on the back of it, it has all of my pertinent information, name, date of birth, and the bad pager number for anybody to call should have something have happened. And again, you can find those on our website, lvadnu.com, or you can also go to the website of the manufacturer, which is creativemugsandmore.com, and just click on the VAD tag. Um, One of the things that I did when I was packing my suitcase is I had taken a towel and I rolled it up, and it's actually a bath-sized towel that I rolled up. And on one side of the suitcase, all the way to the left, I had the AC unit that you plug into the wall, and then I put the towel between that and my mobile charging unit. And what that did is it prevented either one of them from touching each other or bumping into each other during the trip. Because when you're in a Jeep Cherokee and you're traveling about 1,000 miles back, and it was total 1,000 miles going up and coming back. Anything can happen. You can hit a pothole or something, and you just don't want anything to happen to either one of those two life-saving equipment pieces. So I put the towel in between there. I also put a week and a half worth, actually 12 dressing changes in there, even though I was going to be gone 5 days. Again, I just wanted to be sure that I had enough. I took 12 days of medication with me to ensure that I had enough. Um, and then I had packed my VAD manual that they give you before discharge, and I packed my HeartMate 3 LVAD book that I log all of my stats in daily from my control unit, as well as weighing myself and my blood pressure, and put that in there as well. On the outside of the bag, I had two nice size zipper pockets. So I was able to put an emergency dressing change just in case something had happened on the way. I would be able to have that dressing change with me. I also was able to put my medication in one of the pockets so that I would have easy access to that as well. So the only thing that went in this bag was VAD related equipment. And I say the only thing, but wow, when you start filling the bag, you realize that it takes up a little bit of space, or actually quite a lot of space. And like I said, I had a full size suitcase, and it had wheels and a handle, which I implore everybody to get if you're going to travel. Please get one with wheels and a handle. It makes life so much easier for you. Um, It was an expandable one as well, soft-sided, and it had one zipper that went all the way around it that you would open it up. And then there was, after you close it, there was a zipper on top of that bottom zipper that you would open up, and it would expand it about, I'm going to say, 3.5 inches taller, so that you would be able to put additional things in there if you needed it. I didn't need to expand it, but it was nice knowing that I could as well. And I put a stethoscope in there. I put blood pressure equipment in there. I put absolutely everything that I would need in there um, to be able to do a dressing change no matter where I am, regardless of the circumstances. And no clothing went in there whatsoever. It was specifically a bag dedicated to my bad stuff. I even put a scale in there. So I had everything with me. And again, nothing went in that bag except bad related equipment. I had another bag that I used for my clothing, for my shoes, for my toiletries, and things like that. My shower bag was also in there. My shower equipment was also in there. Everything was in there that was relevant to a VAD. And I have to tell you, it makes you feel better when you know that's my VAD bag right there. That's the first bag I got to pull. Um, in my battery carry bag that we take with us everywhere we go, I was able to get 3 sets of batteries in there. And what I did is 2 in the front pocket, and then I put 1 in the mesh. If you unzip that pocket, you'll see there's a mesh screen up there on the underside. I put 1 in there, and then that allowed me just enough room to have another one laying down flat. Then I was able to zip it. So all my batteries were fully charged, loaded, and ready to go. Um, and I did that. Another thing that I did was I contacted the hotels prior to starting out. And I explained to them that if they have the ability to let me come in as an early check-in, that would be a great help to me, that I am a VAD patient. What is that? You'll always get that. I explained it to them, and they said no problem. The hotel company that I had used was Wyndham Hotels. And if you're unsure of whether the hotel will let you or not do an early check-in, just call them. The day that I was requesting the early check-in was the day that I was going to be meeting Brandon and Chris up there with Sean and I, and we wanted to make sure that we got there in enough time to get myself set up, get everything set up, make sure that all the batteries were still on charge. And Wyndham was gracious. They actually called me before we got there and said, "Are you on your way?" "Yes, we have the room ready for you." So amazing people there, and they really did take care of us. Um, it was approximately 4.5 hour drive. Uh, well, actually, no, it was 3 hours now that I think of it to get to Brandon's, and that was where we stopped for the night. But I still stopped along the way and got out and walked a little bit because I'm on blood thinners, as most of us that have VADS are. I wanted to make sure that there wasn't any chance that a nasty little clot was starting to form. So I got out and I walked around a little bit. Also, if you're traveling between breakfast and lunch and you find yourself on the road and lunchtime is coming up, please stop. There's nothing worth skipping a meal over to get there fast enough. Just stop, have a bite to eat. I take medication morning, afternoon, and in the evenings. So I needed to stop. I needed to have a bite to eat. And I also needed to take my pills. And everything went off without a hitch. Pace yourself. That's the most important thing. Just pace yourself. You don't have to complete everything in an hour. Just pace yourself. Um, so that was the first night, which was Saturday night. Sunday was the big leg of the trip. That was a 6 hour trip because we were going from Harrisonburg, Virginia, all the way up to Atlantic City, and that is a long haul. And we did stop twice, if not 3 times, I think, on the way up there. And again, the casino that we stayed at, that was for a business convention, was the Tropicana, and they were so gracious. I mean, it was an absolute early check-in. We were meeting family friends up there, and they were able to check in with us. We all checked in at the same time, and it was absolutely wonderful because it gave me time to get myself set up and then get over to the convention center. Um, and on the way back, I did the same exact thing. I always travel now with this. I wish I knew where one could be found. I suppose I could Google this. This is called a blender bottle, and it was given to me by a nurse, and it's just amazing because it can tip over and it's not going to spill at all. And you can shake it and it's not going to spill at all. And one of the best bottles I've ever had in my life. But I kept that with me at all times, and if I ran in and got a tea, I would grab a tea, whatever it was that I needed to make sure that I had some kind of fluid with me at all times. So that was really great. And yeah, everything really, really, really well, as a matter of fact. There was no confusion or anything. Like I said, the only thing that was in that VAD bag was VAD equipment, and that was the very first bag that I reached for every time we would get out of the vehicle to go check in somewhere. Um, so, all in all, I think that I was much calmer coming back, knowing, yep, I can do this now. Like I said, I don't know how it's going to be on an airplane, but I know that it's not going to be that difficult. I'll just find a carry-on bag that I'll be able to put everything in and keep my VAD equipment with me that way. I also made sure in one of the pockets of the bag that I carry my batteries in, there's always an emergency change of dressing, whether you're traveling or whether you're just going somewhere. It's always a great habit to have an emergency change of dressing right in there. Now, you won't be able to have, if you're using an antiseptic spray, but have everything that you can possibly get in there just for an emergency dressing change. Just very, very important. All right, so if you have any questions about traveling or you need any travel tips, please don't hesitate to email me. There's a travel tip guide that you can find on our website, lvadandyou.com. All you have to do is click on the resource tab. You can also find it in the files in the Facebook group of lvadandyou.com. And the initial original one came from my LVAD.com. If you haven't been there, go there. It's a great, great resource place. A lot of resources available. And both Dawn, who is the COO of that, and myself, and Brandon, Chris, and Sean have been working diligently together, sharing information that we get, and it is a wonderful cooperative effort. So any one of those places. Yes, our group is closed, but that doesn't mean that you can't get in. All it means is that before you join, please understand the rules. Read the rules, and if you're okay with that, submit, and we'll approve you. If you're not okay with that, it gives you an opportunity to say, okay, maybe this isn't the group for me. And we do not preclude you because you're a caregiver. We don't preclude you if you're a medical person. It doesn't matter to us. As long as you care about the people with VADs and that particular medical situation, please come on in. We welcome everybody. Showering. I wanted to talk a little bit about showering. Again, my team is the greatest. They really are. I can't speak highly enough about them. They have actually allowed me to try out different shower guards to see which one worked the best. And then, of course, they would order them for me or put the prescription in. And there are two that I want to talk about real quickly. One is a shower shield, and it comes in a 10 by 12 inch sheet, and it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And this is what it looks like, okay? And this white that you see is where your adhesive is, and it's one strip. Wonderful one strip, meaning you can start pulling. And what I do is I pull about halfway from here all the way back, and I will place it right over where the exit and the wound is. And then I will pull the rest of it off. And as I'm pulling the rest of it off, I start to crimp. And when I crimp, it gives me enough room to make a tight seal around the drive line. And the really nice thing about this is you'll feel an air pocket. That's perfect. That's what you want. That lets you know that there's no moisture getting in. I love the shower shield. 5 VADs, by the way. If I could give it 6, I would. And not so much with the next one. The next one, in addition to being way smaller, okay, literally it does not even, my drive line is here, and the beginning of where the dressing is where this hand is. It literally is going to stick on the dressing. It's going to stick on the dressing. There's not enough room to crimp it. And the first time I used it, which was the only time I've used it, sure enough, water got in. The other thing I don't like about it is you have these tabs. They're individual. Some are put underneath, as you can see right here. Let me do this a little bit differently, but I'm not going to use this one anyway. So you see I'm pulling this off. That's coming up on top. And then this one lays underneath. So this really is difficult to be able to maneuver because of the size of it. And again, like I said, the adhesive doesn't work that well. One thing I want to caution everybody about, don't try to reuse this. If you go to put this on and you get a wrinkle in it or something and you're unhappy with the way it is, pull it off. Do not try to reseal yourself with this because it's just not going to work and it's not very sterile. So This gets 0 VADs, really. This one, 5 VADs, the best. So this is the shower shield, and this is the Aqua Guard. This may work for smaller people, but it certainly doesn't work for a guy that weighs about 185 pounds and stands 6 feet tall. That doesn't work for me. All right, one last thing about showering, the bag. I never close this bag, ever, 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 except when I'm showering. And I'll tell you why. After I get out of the shower, I will unzip it, and then I will wipe it down with a towel, and then instead of hanging it by the shoulder strap, I will hang it by the other strap upside down and let the air get to it so that I know the next time I go to use this, it's going to be bone dry inside and out, and there is absolutely no risk of damaging my batteries or my control unit because there's moisture in it. It's just one of those tips that I kind of accidentally came across when I was showering, and I said, okay, I've got to do this. I recommend if you're going to shower, well, you have to shower actually, that you take a chair into the shower. Now, some of you have a tub, a shower and tub kind of combination, so it's a little bit more tricky to get a chair in there that's going to fit, a shower chair that'll fit. I have seen benches that go across, which is really great. So make sure you have a shower curtain or you get the whole bathroom wet. You can use a shower bench. But if you're like myself, here at the house, we have 2 freestanding showers, which provide enough room to pull a chair literally in. Make sure that whether you're using a bench or whether you're using a chair, there are non-skid protective pads on the feet of the chair or on the bottom of the bench. That is so very, very important, because if not, and that chair slips, you can really injure yourself. All right, everybody, that is all for today. A few travel tips, a few shower tips. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to ask. Our email is lvadandyou@gmail.com, and our website is lvadandyou.com. Again, if you're not a member of our Facebook group, you're more than welcome to join. Just make sure you read the rules, agree, and then submit. Actually, I don't even think there's an agree tab. Just submit after you read the rules, all right? So everybody have a wonderful week. I will see you again with another video. Be good.